It's time for Tausch on Wisconsin's Morning News. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and Kohler Services.
Mark Tauscher on Wisconsin's Morning News is sponsored by Kohler Services and Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Tausch, what do we know about the Broncos? I feel like it's been a minute since we played there. I don't know, that may be wrong. I'm thinking last big memory I have in Mile High, and I think it was the old stadium. You were involved in this one, right? That overtime win, the walk-off, carve to Jennings and the deep throw.
Yeah, I think it's the same stadium because I believe my first taste as an NFL player was a preseason game at the old Mile High, or it was the first game at the new, whatever they're calling it now.
Empower Field.
And I know they're building a new stadium. So what do we know about Denver? They've obviously won 10 in a row. Their defense, Jimmy Leonard is a big part of what Denver does. So that's a fun little deal. He's not the D coordinator, but I think he runs the back end of it and everything else. They have a great defensive end, and I know his number because I've watched film 15, and I believe his name is Benito. He's an all-pro player, and he's got 12 and a half sacks. He's somebody that you have to be highly concerned and worried about as a play caller and as an offense. But Denver is built on defense. They are a very good squad there. Their quarterback, I don't think they trust. I think he's made some very clutch plays, but I picked Denver when you get that schedule release like April, May-ish, and you kind of look through it. And with Green Bay, you're like, okay, I think at Detroit will be tough. This was the game that I had picked for certain. I thought Green Bay would not be able to find a way to win. I thought Denver was going to be a lot better. They are. They're going to probably win the AFC West. And it's going to be a humongous challenge for this team coming off of the success, and that you just want to make sure there's no exhale because you just ran a gauntlet of your divisional rivals. You played your best football. Now you have to continue to build on it on the road, which this team has been okay on the road, but it's going to be one heck of a challenge on Sunday.
They remind you of the Bears at all? You just mentioned Bo Nix, who they don't always trust. That sounds similar to the Bears quarterback, and a team that has won 10 in a row, but also has kind of squeaked by a few times.
Has a little. How'd they do that?
Yeah, I think the defense for Denver is a lot better.
Yeah,
a lot better than what the Chicago Bears were. So that part I would say no. But when you start talking about how they've won. And they've won close games. I don't know how many one-score victories they have. But Denver it doesn't matter who they're playing. It feels as if they're going to be in a tight ball game. Kind of felt that same way about Chicago. Well, guess what? Green Bay was just in a tight game with Chicago, and they found a way to win. But, yeah, I don't think that's a horrible – especially on the offensive end. I think the Chicago Bears are a much better running the football team since Dobbins got hurt. But they have a young guy that they like that they're going to pound at you. And Sean Payton has had a lot of success against the Green Bay Packers when he was with New Orleans. That I don't know what that will mean or what that tells you, but you just feel like this is going to be one whale of a challenge out in Denver. And when you're scrapping to win your division and to try and be as highly seeded as you can, even though it's an AFC game and all of the tiebreaker stuff isn't quite as important, there's not going to be a ton of margin for error in this last 4 weeks, and this will be one that you need to get if you want to get to that 1 seed.
Is it that big of a deal, the altitude thing? Like, do you get a little bit more winded out there?
So I didn't. It didn't feel like that was to me. I was obviously always a specimen and in great shape.
Right.
So that
wouldn't
never,
expect you would be affected, the likes of you.
Your teammates.
But for the wideouts and the guys that are doing a ton of sprinting and – yeah, I mean, they obviously are going to try and make it a mental thing where, hey, you're coming into altitude at blah, blah, blah. And they're, like the Denver Nuggets do. They're trying to really emphasize it. And, yeah, it's a thing, but I don't know to the degree. You'd have to, talk to the people that are really doing a ton of sprinting. For us as offensive linemen, I don't think it bothered us as much as maybe Denver would hope it would.
Well, let's hope it doesn't. 7:58. Thanks, Tausch.
Good, Tausch.
On Wisconsin's Morning News.